Okay, so recently I have been struggling with putting the work, and the reason this is a problem or why it's pretty hard for me is because I'm really ambitious. I have great dreams, great goals that I want to achieve. Then having it hard to put the work in day to day doesn't help you with reaching those goals. That's really taxing on your mind and how you feel about yourself and who you are. It's hard to put in the work in today's day and age also because people are more lazy, people are doing stuff that isn't productive, that they shouldn't be doing, some bad habits and partying and gaming and whatever. They aren't doing the work that they should be doing, they aren't going to the gym, they aren't training, and that's why it also just becomes easier for you to fall down to their level because everyone else is doing it. Why can't you? Because I go to school, I have to wake up early, then I have to go to school, spend my most precious hours, the hours of the day when I'm most productive in school, learning something. Then I get home, it's in the middle of the day, I'm tired, I have learned a lot, I have ate food, I have done whatever, but I'm tired when I get home. Then I have some hours before I go to the gym or before I train, but those hours often become pretty lazy just because I am tired and I just don't want to do anything. I'm lazy, I want to scroll, and often being that tired stems from you taking your phone out before you step into the bus, or taking your phone out when you're going home in the bus or with a train or whatever, how you get home. Start scrolling then. That leads you to then feeling worse or feeling more tired when you get home, because you have spiked your dopamine. That's a big problem I guess I have been struggling with recently. There are so many distractions that I can fall into in this day and age. As a person who is on self-improvement, I start blaming myself for falling into it, because when I know that I can do better, when I know that I have big goals, big things I want to achieve, big actions, big events I could do, some work I could do, but then I start scrolling or watching some Netflix movie or playing some video games or eat some junk food, whatever is the bad habit, then that just hits hard on me and I start blaming myself because I know what I'm capable of. But blaming myself doesn't make it any better. Honestly, when I blame myself, I am on the low spectrums of emotional frequencies. That just leads me to being even worse and then just continuing doing bad habits. But I have tried to realize that everything has a cause and effect. So if you feel drained when you come home, there has to be something that causes that before you're getting home. Maybe it's you starting to scroll when you're getting home. Maybe it's the food you've eaten. Maybe it's you slept worse this night. Your health is just deteriorating. You're getting sick, whatever. There is always a reason for it. And you gotta find a reason, because when you're going blind, when you're trying to hit what is the reason and you don't know, then the chance of hitting is really low, and if you hit, you probably hit wrong also. That's where you're gonna find the thing causing the behavior you don't want, and then you try to fix that. You try one thing, improve one thing, see if that works, improve another, see if that works, and you go back and forth like this until you have fixed it. I have to try that also myself, just trying to find what is the cause. For me, it's probably feeling that after school I have done a lot of work, I have drained my brain power and everything, so then I feel that I deserve to scroll or watch some content or anything. You should do that in the evening if you do it, not after school when you actually have things to do. Sure, I may fall down, I may fail, but what matters is how I get up. If I get up, if I keep on trying. Someone that is not on self-improvement, someone that doesn't have these same ambitions, these same goals as me, don't feel the same problems as I do, don't feel the same feelings as I do when I do a bad habit. We are on different levels, because I feel bad if I start playing some video games. I feel bad if I start scrolling or wasting time. But if someone who hasn't realized that scrolling and watching brain videos and videos that don't improve your life isn't good for you, they aren't going to have that same guilt and shame for doing it, because they don't realize it. And that's why self-improvement has been a good thing, to realize what you can improve, to realize that I can improve, and then try to improve, to become a better version. But that also leads me to having it hard to do many actions that are relaxing, because they feel unproductive, they feel bad to do. Just being on self-improvement is a much better baseline to be on than not being on self-improvement. Just think back some years when you were younger. You used to come home, you used to run home, you used to cycle the fastest you could to get home, just to open some video games, just to play Minecraft for 5 hours in the evening. Or what I remember for me was I used to wake up early before school, and I try to get some gaming in. Seriously, that's just crazy, trying to get in playing some video games before school. Obviously, I didn't have a morning routine back then, so I brushed my teeth and ate and packed and went. I didn't go to the shower, I didn't do all of those things, I didn't meditate and journal, whatever. So that's why I may have had time for it, but still just playing games before school, that's the worst way to learn and just to enjoy it, because you have spiked your dopamine so early, so it's just not fun anymore after that. But back then I didn't understand the concept of dopamine loading, so doing the least amount of dopamine activities in the morning and then the higher spike activities in the evening. I didn't understand those concepts, and I didn't really care either. I wanted to have fun. That's naturally a kid. I fully understand that if you're a kid you do that. But when you get older, you realize you have more responsibilities, you have more dreams, ambitions, things you want to achieve. And that naturally just causes you to fall off the track of being able to game for 5 hours each evening. You just don't have the time for it anymore if you want to achieve something else. Sure, if you don't do that, then maybe game for 5 hours, but I wouldn't say that that's the best thing you can do with your time. As you can see on my left side, I have a book about Alexander the Great, written by Anthony Everett. Alexander felt bad when his father conquered more and more and more. When he was 16, he told his friends, and they thought about it also a lot, that the more his father Philip conquered, the more land he took over, the less would be left for Alexander the Great to conquer. At 16, that is crazy levels of ambition. By 17, he became king, and then he conquered a lot. Just imagine the amount of ambition, the amount of striving you have to want to conquer, to be disappointed by your father to conquer too much because you want to conquer it. That's just insane. And if you compare that to many 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds nowadays, who just want to party and take drugs and smoke and vape and whatever, that's just a whole nother level. And no one in this day and age can be on the same kind of level, just because that's a different social dynamic also that is at play there. But being the same age as me, and he has all of that, I can't fathom that, honestly. What I'm trying then to solve these problems of not having the motivation, not having the ability to put in the work necessary by procrastinating and other things, is cutting down on the stimulating content, cutting down on scrolling, cutting down on junk food, cutting down on all of those bad things, and just letting the dopamine levels return to a healthy baseline, letting you actually enjoy the work you're doing. Actually enjoy doing those harder things. It's really tough. I won't say that it's easy. It takes a lot of time to be able to cut it down. To cut down screen time from 4 hours a day to 30 minutes a day takes a lot of willpower. It is really hard to keep yourself from doing it, especially when you're tired after school, keeping yourself from picking up your phone and scrolling. But you gotta replace that with something better. So reading, even though you don't always want to read, but just try to read. After you have read for some time, it becomes fun. You get involved in the story, especially if it's biography or it's a fictional story, but you get involved in it, and that's 10, 100 times, 1,000 times better than scrolling. Scrolling is a really bad thing you can do. Scrolling wrecks your dopamine system. It wrecks how you feel about everyday life, and that's why you should not do it. Keep yourself from scrolling. What I also gonna try, or have been trying, is getting stricter, back to being stricter with everything. When I realized the concept of self-improvement, I obviously implemented the actions of meditating, journaling every single day, at the same time every single day, morning routine, evening routine, prioritization, etc. But over the time when you feel that, oh well, I have done these things, I know how to do them, you stop doing it as strictly. But I gotta get back to that, because when I was doing that, I felt the best, and I realized that if you are lazy in one area of life, if you aren't doing it to 100% of your capability, if you are slacking, that transfers to basically every single other area in your life. So if you eat junk food, there's no wonder that you're going to play some video games and scroll and eat more junk food. That's a natural cause of effects, because when you have already spiked your dopamine so high, there are only a specific amount of things you can actually do that will spike it even more, which you want, which your brain wants. But then if I wake up early, I get in some work, some deep work, I train, I read, I meditate, my day just looks 1,000 times better than it would otherwise if I would wake up late, first thing to do, maybe game, eat some junk. That just looks a lot worse. That's why I gotta start making the stricter daily routines, the stricter priority lists to get done during the day, just so I can actually feel fulfilled, to actually get that momentum back. An essential thing to remember for me is that I'm an autonomous person. I choose what I do. It may feel that the urges that you have, that your brain tells you that you must do, are needed to be acted upon, but they aren't. If I feel that I have to eat some junk food now. I can tell myself, no, I won't do it. Everything is a choice, and I decide if I do the bad habit or I don't. It's an act of character, and that's where you gotta train up that willpower, train up that discipline. But I gotta train that for myself also, because at least recently it has been that when I think, oh, but I want that, then I have just felt like, well, whatever, I'll start tomorrow. But I gotta be stricter with myself. I admit that. Another thing I'm trying currently is cutting down on what is non-essential. I recently read the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown. I finished it, and the biggest takeaway I got from it was that you should cut down on everything non-essential, focus on the essential things, because those things are what make up a good life and makes you fulfilled. So that's why I'm trying to cut down on all the excess activities that I want to do. I'm ambitious in a lot of things. I have big goals in a lot of different areas, but that's why I gotta just prioritize something. So that's why I at least have been doing that since I've read Essentialism. I have been cleaning up my calendar, because naturally when I feel that, oh, I want to learn something, I put it as an event in my Google Calendar. Then I have something else, and I put it on another. And then suddenly I have just kept on moving everything back, because I don't have enough time in the day to do every single thing. And then the important things also get moved back. And then everything gets moved back, because it just creates too much mess, too much confusion in you, and you just can't do anything at that point. That's why I have tried to cut down on the least essential things, and then just have the essential things repeating at the same basic time every single day, so my brain gets used to doing that thing at that time. And there's something natural also about just feeling bad, feeling unmotivated, feeling like you can't do the work. It's just reading. Like reading about Alexander the Great. Just reading something new. Getting new ideas, getting new concepts into your brain. Just getting that new motivation, that new fire in you. Just me thinking about Alexander the Great. About him being the same age as me. Well, a lot of years back, but still, just being at the same age as me, having the ambition, that leads me to think that, who am I to not be ambitious? Who am I to not strive for greatness? Even though the social dynamics is different, even though our culture is different, it doesn't matter, because there are always some way you can do it, where you are, who you are, when you are. But that just gives me a fire. Just also gotta fire yourself up. You think that, oh well, I guess that was his thing, you know, he was ambitious and whatever. Obviously you aren't gonna get fired up by that, but you gotta fire up yourself. Get hyped. You gotta motivate yourself. That's the thing before you go to the gym. Motivate yourself. To lift more. If you're just there to, oh well, someone on the internet said for me to lift some weight, well then obviously you're not gonna build some muscle, you're not gonna get new PRs. But if you actually want to do that, you want to be there, you want to lift, you want to gain weight, you want to get muscle, you want to do whatever, you just gotta hype yourself up. You are the person that can do that. I myself is also the person that can do that to myself. I just got to do that. It's a choice. It's a choice of your mindset, how you feel about the world, if you're positive, if you're negative. But it's your thing to decide. So as a quick takeaway for myself for this video is, we all struggle. No matter how far along doing something I am or you are, we all struggle with our own problems, with whatever. And the thing that matters is just, if you fall down, if you fail, keep on going, keep on trying. It doesn't matter if you fail. It only matters if you fail and don't get up. But if you fail and keep on trying, then you actually have a chance. And when you realize that you are somewhere you don't want to be, where you are doing something you don't want to do, just stop, remind yourself that you have a choice. You can decide not to do that. Journal about it, find the root cause, find what is driving that thing, what is driving you to actually do that, why are you doing it, and then try to stop that. This video was basically for myself, some problems I have been experiencing. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.